Hello, Redbeard Trading family, and welcome back. Sorry it's been a little bit since I've uploaded a video for you. Life gets in the way a lot of the time, and especially for me right now, life's really pretty busy. We'll get into that a little bit later, but what I wanted to have this video be is going over the super amazing time that my wife and I had at Magiccon Las Vegas 2024. So today is Monday the 28th, and we got back yesterday. And so everything's still really nice and fresh in my mind. I want to talk about some of the experiences that I had, show off some of the things that we were able to get, and then just kind of talk about future plans for Redbeard Trading and the business moving forward. So first things first, let's go ahead and just jump into some of the awesome stuff that we got. So to start off, we've got our Magiccon badges. Oh. My wife picked up a bunch of really awesome pins. See if this will focus up and show off a little bit better. There we go. We've got the Russ Bust from Russ at Manamart. Big Stone 23's pin. And then we've got our Magiccon Las Vegas dated pin. And then for entering into the convention with the badges that we got, we each received, come on, two of these foil counter spells, and we each got this absolutely gorgeous Doctor Strange. Come on, camera. Come on. Counterspell. Absolutely beautiful. This was only the second time you were able to get one of these, so we were so excited. And then in the back here, you can see we got this Wolverine Marvel / Magic the Gathering crossover comic book, and then the Storm comic book as well. We each got 2 packs of 50 of these angel themed sleeves, and an on theme deck box as well. Sorry, the camera is struggling today. Come on, right. Maybe if I, there we go. And a neat little Ultra Pro box. We also picked up the Pixel Perfect Secret Lair. We got 2 of them. We opened one already, and I'll be showing off those cards here in a minute. We got this neat little Liliana vest. Oh, you're seeing my camera now. Let's see. Come on. There we go. Liliana vest, token, and life counter. Or if you have a ton of tokens, just a token counter. We've got 2 of these Fibble deck boxes. So 1 each for my wife and I. These are limited edition just to this con, is what I was told. 1 of 600. Really fun, cool deck box that was unique to that convention so far. We also, both my wife and I, picked up several singles which I'm going to show you here in a second. But first, let's start with those pixel perfect secret lairs. We've got the Fierce Guardianship, Solve the Equation, and sorry for the glare on the camera today, Mana Geyser, Lightning Bolt, and then Delayed Fire Blast. Okay, Delayed Fire Blast. And then these are the 5 cards I picked up. Archon of Cruelty, Endural Flame of the West poster, Glamdring poster, Radagast the Brown poster, and Shadow of the Enemy poster. These 4 posters I'm super excited about. As a lot of you might know, I'm working on a complete set of all of the Lord of the Rings cards, both the standard and holiday edition. Besides, I'm not looking for serialized or the commander cards. So it was really nice to be able to pick up 4 of these. I did a trade-in for them because I don't have the card anymore, obviously. But let me pull up a picture of what we pulled from one of my excuse me, one of my collector boosters that we got for going to the convention. A Liliana of the Dark Realms raised foil from Bloomborough. That card plus a few other trades helped me to get all 5 of the cards I just showed you, which I was super happy about. And then my wife also got a good number of cards that she loves, and she's starting a few other collections based off what she got. As far as, and we also got this cool water bottle and the backpack that I showed you to start. So, as far as the convention goes, it was a ton of fun. We didn't plan it out super well this year, and we are going to do much better next year, because we are going to go either to the Atlanticon or back to Vegas, just kind of depending on timing and the finances and all of that. So with it, and if any of you are planning on going to one of these conventions, here's some advice. So we got the 3-day badge, or the weekend all days badges. I got I got the legendary VIP, and my wife got the premium weekend. Looking back, I wish we could have gotten at least one of us the Black Lotus and the other one the legendary. That would have been a lot more money, but I really think it would have been worth it in the end. I didn't show off I'll show off the playmats here in a second. So we did the all days passes for both of us. We signed up for a 2-headed giant chaos draft, which was Friday afternoon. And we booked our hotel Friday through Sunday. We didn't think that all the way through until probably about a month before, when we realized if we need to be in Las Vegas by 1 p.m. for the 2-headed giant, we would have had to leave our house at, to be safe, 5 a.m. to get down there, and we did not want to drive 6 hours down to Vegas, jump out of the car, run into the convention center, and sit down to draft, and not have any time in between for if there was an accident on the freeway. So next year we are going to be doing Thursday through Monday, because come Sunday, which was the last day of the con, we had to leave before the convention was over, and we didn't have as much time as we would have liked to spend with our friends that we met while we were there. Speaking of friends, we were able to finally meet in person Chris Carr, Big Stone 23, Russ with the Russ Bus from Manamart, and Robin Sam, the owners of Manamart, as well as Colton Jeff and a few others. And then we met a lot of just really cool people while we were there. We grabbed a cab with an individual and chatted with them for a while. We were in line to check out at the convention shop, and I was able to chat with a fellow named Tyler for probably a good 15-20 minutes while we were there, just kind of get to know him. We had a lot in common, which was really cool. And then just kind of in general, the people we played against in the Two-Headed Giant, it was a lot of fun. One thing that I've always been impressed with the Magic community is how welcoming and kind everybody that we've interacted with is. Obviously, there's some people who you catch them on a bad day. There's some people who are just kind of polite but short, with you. But compared to other hobbies I've been in, other communities that I've been involved with, the Magic the Gathering community is extremely kind and welcoming and accepting. And that's not always the picture that we get online, from news headlines or anything like that. The worst is what's shown. And obviously the community can do better. Not saying it's perfect, but if you've ever thought about playing Magic the Gathering and have just been on the fence because you're worried about, you don't know anybody who you can play with or anything like that, find your local game shop, your LGS, and just go for Friday Night Magic. Introduce yourself to the owners or the managers. Let them know this is your first time ever, and that you want to learn, and you will be taken care of. If your LGS doesn't really help you, if they aren't super community based, I'm very lucky with my LGSs in a lot of ways. Find a different LGS. If you don't have an LGS around, get online, and Facebook has groups, Reddit obviously has groups, and just reach out and say, hey, new to Magic, this is the geographic location I'm in. Is there anybody that I could meet up with and kind of learn the ropes of Magic? And I guarantee someone will reach out and be willing to help you. It's a good community. Now, as far as the convention goes, like I said, it was absolutely incredible. We also got 2 playmats. Let me show those now that I've talked for a minute. Just got to clear some things away. So we got this is the playmat I got. It's a Ultra Pro Stitched Edge. It says Magiccon Legendary VIP, and it's dated for when the con was. So that's the one that I got for my badge. And then this is the one my wife got. Again, it's got Magiccon and the date. It's not stitched, which I actually kind of like a little bit better. But it is just a really beautiful playmat. Just kind of get these back up here. So as far as what we did at the convention, we only played in that one Two-Headed Giant event. I wish we would have done more because it was so much fun. Oh, I'm very lucky to have a wife that loves Magic almost as much as I do. And quite frankly, she's better at building decks than I am. I have the upper hand when it comes to playing, just because I have a lot more hours on Arena than she does. But we're working on changing that. But we played in the Two-Headed Giant. It was a best out of 3 Swiss event, and we ended up winning 2 out of our 3 matches, which we were very surprised by. Big shout out to Brian at our game grid here around me. He taught us the strategy that we needed by kicking our butts at another two-headed dragon event. So we had my wife play, let's see, what was it? Mono green, and she was creature based. And then I played blue white control. And it was mean. I felt really mean while doing it, but I hate blue, and I hate playing against blue, but I'm starting to really like playing blue, and I feel bad for saying. I used to be all about red and green, but blue's creeping up there. So we played in that event. It was a chaos draft. Can't remember all the packs that we drafted from, but we drafted surprisingly well, which I'm very happy about. We've come a long way in just the last 6 months that we've been playing, and I'm really excited to keep playing with my wife. I love hanging out with her and playing, which is also very lucky for me to have a spouse that I enjoy spending that much time with and sharing all of my hobbies with. So that was Friday. Friday night we finished the two-headed giant around 6:30. We went and got our prizes, which we ended up getting Wilds of Eldraine bundle as a prize. And then we went straight back to the hotel, ordered pizza, and then crashed because we were just so exhausted. We stayed in Mesquite the night before, and it was a horrible hotel. Honestly, it looked like it was straight out of the 80s, and I don't know that they changed the mattresses since then. It was so bad. And so we were just exhausted. We slept in on Saturday for a bit. I think we woke up about 7:38, which is sleeping in for me nowadays. We went back to the convention, and we really just wandered. We talked with a whole bunch of the shops. I got to meet a lot of LGS owners from around the country, which I absolutely love. We purchased most of the items that we came home with, which was mostly singles. We traded in several items. I ended up having a playmat from the late 90s that I knew nothing about. I knew it had some value, but I knew nothing about it. I think it's actually been on some of my videos, and now I'm completely blanking on the name. One second, because I've been saying it wrong. I said it wrong to every single person after I learned what it was. Sorry, one moment, just making sure. Okay, so it was a Spellground playmat. And so we took it to one individual. It was kind of a funny story. So we took it to this shop while the owner was working with somebody that was trading in cards with them. And I asked the guy, I was like, hey, do you mind if I ask a quick question? He's like, yeah, that's fine. So I talked to the owner. I can't remember the shop, but I remember his name, Spencer. Because while I'm called Redbeard on the channel, or just Red, my real name, my Christian given name is Spencer. And so I remember his name really good. But I asked him, I was like, hey, do you have any interest in old school playmats? And he just looked up at me and he said, no interest at all, no. But the individual who was trading in cards, he said, hey, do you mind if I see it? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he said, sorry, I don't mind it. And I'm like, no, it's totally fine. And so I pull it out of my bag, and he goes, that's a Spellground. And Spencer, the owner, his eyes look up. He's like, I'm interested. No one calls those playmats, they just say Spellground. And I'm like, oh, I don't know anything about them. Can you tell me a bit more? He told me a bit more. I think he offered me like 125 cash, which, he was upfront with me, and I knew that was, I could sell it for more, but it's one of those items where I'm not all about maximizing profit for items like this, but I could tell that he was mostly just interested in it to sell, which is fine, no issue. But I said, hey, let me shop it around a bit and see what other offers I can get. So the next booth that I go to, one of the gals working the booth, she comes over to help Kaylee and I out. And I say, hey, would you guys have any interest in a spell ground? That's the wrong name, and that's what I keep calling it. No, spellbound. Sorry. Spellbound playmat. And she looked at me quizzically for a half second and said, ground? You mean spell ground? I'm flipping these around, aren't I? No, spell ground. I was like, yeah, that one. And I told her I just learned what it is. Sorry. And she points over to one of the individuals taking trade-ins, and she said, talk to Adam. He is your guy. I'm like, okay. So someone was sitting down with Adam. They got through their trades. I sit down with them, and I do kind of the similar thing. I'm like, hey, do you have any interest in this old school playmat? It's called a spell ground. And his eyes lit up. He's like, can I see it? So I pull it out and I lay it on the table, and he just starts telling me all the history behind these playmats, just really cool facts. Like back in the 90s, when Magic first came out, even into the late 90s, nobody used sleeves and nobody used playmats. It was kind of a thing. You just played on the table. That was that. And Yu-Gi-Oh players, they were all about blinging out, having these playmats, even though they were made for Magic with like Magic the Gathering art and stuff, and they wanted them because it was a cool thing. It was kind of like a boastful thing to have at tournaments. And he even told me that like they would have a holster on their belt for a T90 calculator, a holster for their deck, and then their spell ground playmat, and that was like the look at tournaments. And I just thought that was really, really interesting. And he told me that he actually collects them. He just thinks they're the coolest things in the world. He's got one of the 2-player ones because they, I guess originally they were actually made on basically tablecloth, because the idea was it's just a tablecloth, but for playing Magic. And then it changed to be the 2-player mats to go across the table, so each player could have a battlefield, and then to the single player for your spell ground, where you cast all your spells. And the whole time, you could tell he was so enthusiastic about this. And so I'm chatting with him. We're going over things, and I say, would you be interested in buying it? He said, yes, but let me look it up, because some of these playmats go for $9,000-$10,000, insane amounts. Because the artist who did them originally is no longer around. He passed away, and they are just a very unique part of Magic history that was ignored at first. So he looks up on eBay. He finds that the highest sold recently was $250, and he offers me $150 so he can make $100 on it. Again, I didn't really care as much about the money, because pretty much anything that I would have gotten for this would have been a nice little bit of fun for me. And so I look at him. He's just enthralled with the playmat, and I say, hey, I have a question for you. It's not going to change the price that I asked based on how you answer. And I asked him, are you going to just turn around and sell this item, or are you going to keep it and use it and display it in your shop? And he said, well, my girlfriend, the woman who we first talked to was his girlfriend, actually. My girlfriend bought me this exact playmat last week. And so what I would do is I would take this one home, look at both of them, frame the nicer one of the two, and then play the other, because he was going to go to a legacy or a vintage tournament, and he would love to have that as his playmat, his belt. And so I said, well, and so this is what I told him. I said, I want these items to go to true collectors, because you're the ones who will value them, you'll use them, you'll appreciate them. And part of my philosophy with going into kind of this resale business, buying collections off individuals, going through them, parting them out, and stuff, is unfortunately, number one, I have to make sure I'm covering expenses and bases and everything like that. But past that, I would much rather take a lower amount from somebody who dearly wants an item. They will appreciate it. They know the history behind it. They are a collector of Magic the Gathering, rather than sell to the highest bidder who is going to do God knows what with it. All business doesn't have to be 100% profit. And honestly, I don't think it should be. It still needs to have a soul, and you still need to care about what you care about. There's a saying, don't lose the forest for looking at the trees. And I think that's extremely important to keep in mind in many a situation, but also in business. Don't lose your ideals, don't lose your morals and your passion simply chasing profit. If you can balance those two, you're going to be more successful in the long run, because you'll still have your heart and soul in what you're doing, and you won't lose that overdose. But that's a long spiel for just how much fun we had. That's just one of the fun, cool stories that we got out of Magiccon this year. And so we're extremely excited to go back next year. Like I said, either to Atlanta or back to Las Vegas. We aren't sure yet. But we're not going to be going to Chicago in February. No, thank you. No, thank you. So just to kind of wrap up this video, because I have been, the recording's now almost 30 minutes long. Hopefully I'll be able to cut down the video a little bit. But thank you for everybody who is subscribed. Thank you, future subscribers. And thank you, just community in general. My wife and I have felt extremely welcomed by all of you. We feel your support and we appreciate it. We're still a very small channel. At the time of this recording, we have 48 subscribers, and that's awesome. I'm super happy, because each one of those 48 subscribers represents an individual who has seen our content and has said, I like these people, I want to see more of them. So thank you. Thank you so much. If I ever start to lose the forest for looking at the trees, call me out. Call me out. If I ever get too big for my breeches, call me out. I don't think it'll happen, mostly because I don't think we're gonna explode. But if we do, keep me honest and make sure I remember where we came from, where we started. But just in closing, I hope everybody has a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you may be in the world. Know I appreciate you for watching this video, and know there is a community out there for you. A lot of us do feel alone sometimes, and sometimes we feel alone a lot of the time. And just know that that feeling isn't eternal. It isn't forever, and sometimes you just have to step outside of your comfort zone a little bit and reach out, and you'll be amazed at the arms that pull you into a community. But this has been Red with Redbeard Trading, and again, thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.